so we'll let everyone in.
Yeah. Oh, lots of faces here coming in. Wow.
Hi. Yeah, thank you.
Hello. Oh, wow, this is great. See all these faces. Wow.
I'm Balbia.
Yeah, some people I recognise, some people quite new faces here, which is great.
Yeah, it is great to see some new faces. Welcome, everybody.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hiya. All right, Catherine.
All right, love. Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
And Sue, and hi, Catherine, and yeah, there's lots and lots of people, and this is going out as well. We've got hello, Hayley. Hi.
I've got my granddaughter. She was just having a drink of the nettle tea.
Oh, fantastic. So this is great because we've got people joining us from America, from Ireland, people booked on from Norway. You know, this is absolutely incredible. I'm just pouring out my nettle tea actually. Oops.
Save some for the tasting, you lot. Don't drink it all just.
I know this is last year's nettle tea I dried. Oh wow, it's nice.
Is this being recorded?
Yes.
Brilliant. I was talking to a friend about half hour ago, and I just mentioned it, and she was going, "Oh, I'm really into that, really excited." And so, can I share the recording link with her?
Yeah, absolutely. Because what we're going to do is when this is recorded, everybody that's on our mailing list, we're just going to send a copy to.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so just let us know our emails, Sue. So, oh, no, this is
because I can't
Even maybe forward the email to her soon.
It's all right.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Thanks, Daniel.
It'd be better if she could subscribe to the mailing list and then.
yeah.
Yeah, I just sent her the website so she can have a look.
Yeah.
I didn't know she was so into it. It just sort of came up because I gave her a massage bar that I've made, and she was really excited.
It's great, isn't it? Because you sort of like make products on the course, you know, and everybody's like giving them away and sharing them. And I've got somebody waving at me, Balbia. Hello, she's waving away.
I'm just going to mute everybody. I'm going to have a controller. If you are going to speak, then.
Oh, is that big when they can see it?
So I'm just going to mute everyone. Okay. And then Edwina, do you want to unmute yourself?
Unmute, yeah. So this is really, really exciting, isn't it? All these people coming to join us with Weeds and Wild Medicine. And lots of new faces that are familiar, that have been on our course for the past year, and lots of new people as well. This is so exciting. And I know that, are you still letting people in, Danielle?
Yes, I am, as they join the waiting room.
So what we'll do, we'll get everybody in and then we'll start. We are so excited about this and seeing all these faces, because I've been adding names by hand to our mailing list of people that have booked on. And so I'm recognising lots of names that I've sort of very laboriously put on the MailChimp mailing list. And it's so nice to see faces of people. Because we were wondering, because there were so many booked on, whether to keep faces blank. But you know what? It's just so nice, isn't it, to see people coming up.
Yeah.
So you've all got an hour with us, and we like to be interactive as well. So even though we're going to have you sort of mute, you can go on to the chat as well. We'll try and, you know, answer people's questions if we've got time as well as we go along. So we're really excited about doing this webinar. We wanted to do it because we know that people are really struggling at the moment to connect to nature and to each other. And this is one of our absolute passions, is working with wild medicine and working with the medicine that grows around us and reconnecting people to it. We've been doing this course hands-on for about 7 years now, haven't we? And been doing community courses even longer. And there is an absolute joy when people start to connect to the medicine around us, to the plants, and to see the world in a different way. So even though this is a little bit daunting with so many people, it also brings us a lot of joy to do it as well. So I'm Edwina, and my colleague Danielle, we trained together at university when we did our herbal degree about 11 or 12 years ago. And that's where we met each other. And, you know, we're both sort of fully qualified and practicing medical herbalists. We have our own practices, which are very busy. And we also like to do community courses as well, which before lockdown, we were doing a hands-on course, which we've done for a long time, with inviting people to join us in the Magic Garden at Burnley and Offshoots, where we do hands-on courses. And with lockdown, we started to do a course online, and a lot of our students that we had booked in with us came on it as well. So we called our course Weeds and Wild Medicine because we have a passion about transforming the way that people see weeds. Weeds are our local native herbs. They grow in our gardens, with the cracks of pavements, at the hedgerows. You can see them in car parks, at the sides of roads. And we've been encouraged to have quite a negative response to our weeds. We pull them up, we don't like them, or we put weed killer on them. And yet these are our really amazing native medicines. And we have medicines, wild medicines, native medicines all around us. And we're at a point in time where we're trying to reconnect back with them. And we've been doing this with people for a long time. And we use a lot of native herbs in both our practices, because we believe that it's those herbs that grow around us, that grow in these lands, that are just sometimes what our bodies need. And with herbal medicine, we've been encouraged to think about herbs from distant places, you know, from India or from shamans in, you know, South America, or from all over the world, as being more effective than our own medicines here. Or we've been using herbs that we just buy from the health food shop in a tablet form, and then wonder why they're not so effective. So our aim with all the work that we do is to connect people to here, to change your perspective on the dandelions, the nettles, the cleavers, the trees around us, and to connect that to those medicines in a different kind of way, and to use them in medicine making, using them in the food. And this is an absolutely brilliant time of the year to actually be starting with this, because we've just got, you know, the wild garlic coming through, we've got little bits of nettles coming through, cleavers. So this is a great time of the year to really sort of connect to medicines. And so what we're going to be doing with this session is we're going to be doing a group guided tea tasting, and Danielle's going to explain why that's so important and why we like to work this way. And then when we've done that, and we've had some feedback, and you can see what experiences you have sort of with nettle, then we're going to talk about our really ancient connection to native plants following the seasons, and how working with native medicines and working with our weeds can help to reconnect us back to nature and help us feel better as well. So I'm going to hand over to you, Danielle.
Okay, Edwina, thanks very much for that lovely introduction. So welcome everybody tonight. I'm shortly going to guide you through a nettle tea tasting, and we've been doing a lot of live guided tastings on our course for several years now, and we really love to do it because it really does help everybody to learn and connect with the herbs that you're learning about. You know, you get to try it and experience it and feel it for yourself, and think, and you can feel what it does for you in your body, what emotions it arouses, what memories it might bring about, and feelings. You might feel it go to a certain place in the body, and it's a really important way of learning about these plant medicines by actually trying them for yourself and experiencing them for yourself. Because it's all well and good us telling you what these herbs do, or, you know, reading about it in a book, but the best way of learning is to try them for yourself, and then you can fully appreciate and understand just how brilliant these herbs are. So we thought tonight we'd try nettle, because nettle is fairly easy for everybody to get hold of. The new shoots are just coming up, so You might have even been lucky enough to be able to get some fresh nettle and have that brewing. But if not, you know, any nettle tea will do, from the health food shop, from the supermarket. It will all help to give you an idea of what the plants can do. Of course, you know, we love fresh, we love good quality, and we think that you need to be having the best quality herb to get the full benefits, but we'll work with what we've got. So I'm just going to pour my nettle tea. Hopefully you've all got some at the ready as well. What a beautiful colour. So before we start the tasting, we just need to take a few moments just to ground ourselves and let go of the busyness of the day. You know, we might have been rushing around or had various stressful events going on in the day. So it's a good idea to just switch off your mind, let go, and just connect in with your body and your senses. We're going to taste, we're going to smell, we're going to sit and feel where it goes to. So we'll begin by just taking a few deep breaths, nice deep cleansing breaths. I invite you to close your eyes and just sit comfortably, uncross your legs, get your feet on the floor, connecting with the ground beneath you. Maybe you could take a couple of shoulder rolls just to release any tension that might be held there. So just close your eyes and just start to settle into your seat. And we will take a nice deep breath right to the pit of your stomach. Really feel your body fill with that lovely cleansing breath. And then breathe out as much as you can, just forcing out that breath. And take another lovely deep breath in. Fill your legs and all your body with this lovely breath. And then as you breathe out, just imagine letting go of any tension, of any stress, of any worries, any thoughts. And we'll take one more nice deep breath. Really fill your body with a cleansing breath. And then breathe out, consciously just letting go. I want you to feel your feet connecting to the earth below you. Imagine that you've got roots coming out of the bottom of your feet, going deep into the earth, connecting you to all the other life that's on earth, the plants, the mycorrhizae. You're part of this worldwide web of life. Feel that connection. I want you to open your hearts and just set your intention now to work with this herb, to meet nettle tonight, to be open to any teachings, any insights or wisdom that this wonderful herb wants to share with you. Maybe it's going to be the beginning of a beautiful friendship, a relationship where you can come back and work deeper with nettle as a powerful ally. So we'll begin by just lifting up the cup and bringing it up to your nose and taking a deep inhalation through your nose. Really fill your nostrils with the steam from that tea. Let it stimulate those olfactory receptors up your nose. And just notice any effects that it has on you. Really think about the smell, really tune into the smell. What does that smell say to you? What information does this smell give you about this herb? We can learn such a lot about the plants by doing this. using all our senses to really taste and notice the herbs. Does it stir up any memories? Does it make you feel a certain way? Do you like the smell? Does this smell invite you to drink this tea? Does it smell like something familiar? So just keep smelling and keep noticing any reactions, any thoughts, any feelings, any experiences. You might want to note them down, and we can share them as well in the chat box afterwards. And then let's take a sip of this tea and just roll it all around your mouth. Make sure you coat all the surfaces, the top of the roof of the mouth, the back of the throat, the cheeks, the teeth, the gums, the tongue. And just note that initial impression. How does this feel when you first put it into your mouth? And take another sip and hold it on your tongue. What can you taste? What's going on with this herb? Is it bitter? Is it sweet? Perhaps it's salty? Is it aromatic? Or is it something else? Does it have a strong flavour, or is it more subtle? What does this taste? What do these flavours tell you about the properties of this herb, the different constituents? When you begin to taste the herbs in this way, you can really start to pick up lots of different bits of information and learn a lot about the herbs. And now I want you to take another sip and swallow it down, follow it down your throat, into your stomach. And how does it feel there? How does it interact with your stomach? And you could take another sip, or just follow where that last sip goes. Where does the energy go from this herb? Does it go up or down? Does it go in deep into the body, or does it go more outwards? Or can you feel it everywhere, or maybe nowhere at all? And just sit for a moment and notice any reactions, any strange gurgles, twitches, movements. Do you feel like it's stimulating or perhaps sedating? Could it be toning things up and tightening? Or do you think it's more relaxing to the tissues? Can you feel it in any of your organs? And what does it seem to be doing? And just keep drinking it down. Just really being open to anything that you can learn from this herb tonight. What does this lovely nettle want to share with you? What can it teach you? You could almost begin to have a conversation with it in your body, an interaction. Does it go deep into your DNA and connect you with your ancestors? You know, this is ancient ancestral medicine that our ancestors would have all been using? Does it reawaken something primal? And what is that? What can you feel? Do you like this herb? What do you think it might be good for? Is there anyone you'd like to give it to? And so if you've had any reactions to that, feel free to share them in the chat. I'll just have a little look at what people have been putting already, because it's really interesting doing this in a big group. You know, it's quite profound that often people get very similar reactions and experiences. Even novices that have never done this before can really pick up a lot from this. So we've got some people that didn't manage to get any, but never mind, this is going to be recorded. You can play it back, or you can just do it in your own time. Very green and friendly, sunny days, oh lovely. Yes, someone's allergic to nettles, but it is useful for every herb tea. We do on the course, we do 2 live tastings every month on the Zoom call to really get people to connect with the herbs. It felt warming, spreading from the skin, spreading to the skin from the inside, roots going down legs to feet. So you felt that expansive, spreading feeling. Feel refreshed and awakened. Good. Brussels sprouts, it reminded somebody of, in the nicest possible way. Feels like a sweet 100-year-old lady giving my belly a hug. Wow, that's lovely. Smells like hay or sultanas, quite mild, which is surprising because you'd expect it to be brasher, given the sting in the name. Yes, indeed you would. But you see, once you get beyond that sting, you can learn that actually it's got such a lot to give. I find nettle always very iron tasting, bloody, but I love it. Must be something my body needs a lot. Yeah, you can really taste that metallic taste, can't you, sometimes, because it's so rich in minerals, especially iron as well.
I always find that when you have that first nettle tea of the season, your body really craves it. Yeah. Because it is just absolutely so nutritious. This is packing the nutrition in. You know, this is what nature does at this time of the year and what nettle does. You know, this is why we're starting to think differently about it. And I crave it this time of the year.
I do. From December, I'm there eyeing up the hedgerows thinking, oh, are the nettles ready yet? Or the dandelion greens yet? Where's the cleavers?
Yeah.
Oh, this has been lovely tonight because I've not had any fresh nettle tea yet this year. They're still a bit small now.
Yeah, mine's from last year's dried as well. So
on the whole, I think everyone found it nice, pleasant, which is good. It's because if you can get past the sting, this is such a brilliant food and a brilliant medicine. It's a total superfood. It is so nutritious and nourishing. Someone picked up on that iron taste, and it has been used for a long, long time as an iron-rich blood tonic. It's brilliant for iron deficiency anemia. I always encourage pregnant women or nursing mothers to drink lots of nettle tea, because not only does it ensure a nice, plentiful, rich milk supply, it also is so full of iron, but also things like calcium and magnesium, potassium, vitamins A, C, E, some of the B vitamins, and it's a great source of protein as well. It contains all the essential amino acids that we need to take into our bodies. So the quality of the protein that you get from nettle is comparable to meat. It's that good a form of protein, which is usually quite difficult to get from plants. You can get protein, but not such a great quality. So really, really super nourishing, super strengthening. So good if you're convalescing, good if you've been ill and you need to get your strength up, if you've been off your food. Good for helping to heal up broken bones and things like that, and injuries because of the high mineral content. It's just brilliant. And the sting is very off-putting, but if you can just get beyond that, it's such a great food and medicine. And as soon as you process the nettles, as soon as you put hot water on it and make it into tea, as soon as you dehydrate or dry them or make them into soup, as soon as they get heated or dried, that sting goes. And actually, yes, Avril's put, she loves the tingle of the sting of the nettle. And come springtime, all my fingers are always just tingly from picking nettles. And that was used in Roman times and for a long time after as a therapeutic method in itself. Nettle thrashings used to be really popular for rheumatism and arthritis, stiff, achy joints and muscles. And people tried to say, oh, that doesn't actually work, it's an old wives' tale, it's just
incredible.
But it's not. It's been researched and it's been shown to actually have a pain relieving, anti-inflammatory effect. You have to sort of flail the body part that you want to reduce the pain and the inflammation in. Say you've got like a sore wrist, you need to hit your wrist with it a few times, but it works for about a week afterwards. It really does help to take away that pain. But nettle thrashings are a bit of a controversial form of treatment. You don't have to resort to that. You know, just taking it internally as food and medicine will also have that great therapeutic benefit as well. It is really great for the musculoskeletal system internally. It's a great circulatory stimulant, so it really helps to deliver nutrients and the other healing constituents from the herbs to hard to reach places like your bones, like your joints. They don't really have a great good blood supply, so you need something that's going to aid that circulation to deliver those nutrients and to remove waste products, toxins and metabolic byproducts and things like that. It can be really great for gout and arthritis, where you get those uric acid crystals depositing in the joints, because it helps to flush them out. And because it's increasing the blood supply, it helps with that swift removal. It also stimulates the kidneys as well, which is another part of why it flushes out the uric acid. So it stimulates the kidneys to remove toxins from the joints, from the body, from the skin. It's great for things like eczema, psoriasis, spots. Really great skin cleanser. And then flush out through the urine. So pass through the kidneys into the urine and out of the body. It's such a brilliant cleanser. It's fantastic. So it removes uric acid. It's a circulatory stimulant. It also helps to remineralize the bones as well with the calcium and the magnesium. So this is why it's such a great herb for the joints, for the muscles. It's also really useful in hay fever and allergies. It's one of our natural antihistamines. So if you get, say, prickly heat or urticaria, nettle rash, or hay fever, or any other allergic reaction, just taking some nettle tea or some nettle tincture would be really useful. And it does work really quickly. I remember being on holiday in Devon about 3 years ago with my family, and my son got this rash all over his body. And I thought, right, this is obviously an allergic reaction. Didn't have any nettle with me, but went and found a health food shop, found some nettle tincture, and I only gave him a few drops there and then in a little bit of water. And straight away you could see the rash, the angriness just subsides. So I repeated the dose, you know, another few drops. Half an hour later, within an hour, there was nothing left to see. So it can work really quickly and really effectively. It's also great for enhancing the immune system and protecting from infection. So great for the present moment, and it can support the adrenal glands as well, which are the little glands that sit on top of your kidneys that produce your stress hormones, your adrenaline, your cortisol, and these can become depleted and tired if you're living on stress hormones, which so many of us are. Unfortunately, we try not to, but modern life is stressful. So it's a great way of supporting those adrenals. And nettle seed in the summer, which Edwina's going to talk about in a bit, that's a fantastic adrenal tonic. That's such a wonderful little gift from nature that we need to be so thankful for.
Yeah.
So what else does nettle do? Well, it works upon the cardiovascular system. I've mentioned that it's a circulatory stimulant, but it also can help to reduce high blood pressure because it dilates peripheral blood vessels, and also because it's a diuretic, it produces it promotes urine production that can help to lower the blood pressure as well. It can be useful in diabetes for lowering blood sugar, and of course that circulatory stimulant effect is brilliant for that as well. The roots are useful as well, and the roots are a fantastic kidney tonic, really strengthening to the kidneys, really good for helping to reduce an enlarged prostate in men and the symptoms that go with that. And the seeds are just wonderful as an adrenal tonic and an energy booster. So hopefully you're beginning to get a grasp of how amazing the nettle is. It's so rich in nutrients, it's so strengthening and supportive. And actually Edwina and I like to use it to sort of awaken the warrior within. You know, if you need some warrior energy to stand strong in your own power and not really care what others think, you know, if people are saying, oh my God, what are you doing, you've gone crazy, it helps you just remember who you are and have the confidence to be yourself and stand strong in your own power.
I think what's really good about nettle is as well, and I'm noticing some of the comments here because people are saying, have you got to eat the leaves? And yes, eat the leaves, because I mean, we're doing it in a tea now. One of the best ways to do it in a tea is to actually get your fresh nettles or your dried nettles, pour on some boiling water and just leave it overnight just to infuse, do a really long infusion. And when you get to it the next day, you can really taste the iron, you can taste the nutrients. I mean, it tastes almost meaty. And you can really feel that goodness because you've spent all night extracting that goodness in this really deep, nourishing herbal infusion, which you could use as stock as well. I mean, we like to use nettles in food, and you can use this interchangeably with spinach, with some of your greens. You can make soup from it. You can use it in pesto. You can use it in casseroles. You can use it in so many different foods. And once you've, if you're just using the top shoots, as Danielle's showing you here, because this is the freshest and you're using it before it starts to flower, because then it starts to change and become harsher. So while it's nice and tender this time of the year, you know, just take off those tender tips, you know, put it in, as soon as you put it in hot water and cook it, that sting is so fragile, you know, it just goes. So it doesn't sting you when it's in a soup. Use it in curries, casseroles, really get it into your food wherever you can. You know, that's some nettle soup there. This is one of our favourite foods this time of the year because you're absolutely packing in the nourishment. You can use it with wild garlic, with other greens. And this is something else that we made, was nettle beer. And nettle beer is a really nice alcoholic drink you can use that really does give you some of that nourishment as well. Apparently this was traditionally used in the past to give to old people because nettle's so good for, you know, arthritis, that people used to make batches of nettle beer just to give to old people to drink, because people, this was a way of sort of taking in sort of, you know, these sort of herbs in the past.
This would be a way of a gout sufferer being able to have his beer and drink it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. So, you know, nettle is incredibly nourishing for the body. And as I say, you're using it up until it starts to flower. And then you can either stop using it or just cut it right back to the ground and just keep using that new growth. But the first growth of spring is the most beautiful, freshest, just the most amazing. You know, it's great to just, you know, watch it coming up at the moment. As soon as you can get those new shoots, you know, just cutting them and putting them in everything you can, and you will feel that nourishment, won't you?
Yeah, you will.
You know, with
You're
that.
so strong and healthy and invincible when you've been drinking nettles. And you don't have to do a hot infusion. You can steep them in cold water overnight with some other spring greens like dandelion, like cleavers, like dock leaf. There's so many that we're going to talk about. And
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
the course.
Absolutely, because I mean, we've...
Edwina, sorry, here's a picture of the nettle seeds.
Oh,
So
right, yeah.
Flowers, the seeds come in the late summer, and that's what they look like. And this is us stripping the nettle seeds off to make some nettle seed energy bowls, which we absolutely love. These are all nuts and seeds and nettle seeds and dates and ginger, and you could put other things in there like cacao and ashwagandha and make them really.
Yeah, I mean, I've still got the nettle seeds from last year that I put in my homemade bread, which are just so supportive for your adrenal gland, and, you know, again, power packed, you know, nutritionally. So as Danielle's sort of introduced you to nettle, I mean, I've done whole 2-hour sessions, you know, on nettle. There is so much to talk about, but nettle is part of these sort of emerging plants of this time of the year. And that going out, connecting with the local plants around you is really important. And I think one of the things that is coming up today is that people are really trying to connect with nature. You know, we've been taken so far away from our natural environments that a lot of us have forgotten that really deep relationship that we have with our plants. And for us as foragers, because Danielle and I do a lot of foraging is a really important way to connect with nature, because you're watching the plants as they come up, you're watching them through the cycles, you're working them sort of with the year, but you're also starting to look very closely at your local environment, at the environment that you're in, and starting to pick out places where you might find things. I tend to love edges of things and look out for edges, like edges of water, or edges of woods or hedgerows, or edges of places, because this is where you find that abundance of your sort of medicines and your food. And when you're actually out sort of, and you're working with your local medicines and you're connecting, you become very aware of the seasons and how the seasons change, what to expect in spring, what to expect in autumn, when to pick things. And sometimes even watching for buds as they emerge, waiting for those flowers, as with lime blossom, waiting for seeds, and knowing that that has a really integral connection with how human beings go through the year and the things that we need. When I'm out foraging, I love that deep connection of just looking at the landscape, being aware of things, touching things, smelling things for identification, really getting in close to sort of plants, looking at them, getting your hands in the soil, and getting a more intimate connection, because that's part of identification, but also part of knowing when it's the right time to pick things. I've noticed that when you actually go out with a forager, particularly like your mushroom experts, because we've got friends who are mushroom experts, how long it takes you to get a short space of time, because you start to become integrated with that environment. And you start to, when you're there with a mushroom spotter, you see them smell the air, you see them associate certain mosses and certain environments with what they're going to see, which is something we do, or start to smell things and sniff things and connect with things even from quite a way away. And this is a skill, I think, that we've forgotten how to do, and to really sort of connect and to look and to open up your perception. And I know that when I do a herb walk, people are surprised that you can be walking a very short space of time in half an hour and not gone very far, but found lots of different herbs, and how important it is to be getting on the ground and touching things, smelling things, feeling things, and even putting your hands in the soil. So there is this really important connection in when you're foraging, when you're taking things home, when you're making things in your own kitchen, but also when you start to make medicines for the first time, and how powerful those medicines are, because that's something that you've connected with. One of the things that Danielle and I have spoken about is that seasonal connection with our bodies to nature. And we've come up with like a wheel of the year that we like to work with. And noticing this time, the plants that we have this time of the year are so very, very important. And I'm going to hand that over to you, Danielle, so you can talk about spring medicine.
So I'm going to start with sort of early spring, because we still can work with the roots that are in the ground, you know, the dandelions, the burdocks, that offer us that carbohydrate that we need. You know, they're available from the autumn all the way through the winter, and traditionally we would have been living off these foods with our meats to help keep the weight on and keep the fat and the insulation on over winter. But they're also very cleansing as well, you know, these dandelion roots, these burdock roots. And so as we move into spring from winter, it's a time when, you know, our diets change, or traditionally they would have anyway, you know, before we could access tomatoes 12 months of the year and oranges and things like that. So we'd go from those heavy winter meats and sort of root veg and preserved, canned, pickled things, to having the fresh greens, these spring cleansing greens, and they're all very cleansing. You know, our bodies would have needed a hit of vitamins and minerals and nutrients in a dense form, which is what all these spring greens that are starting to come through now can offer us. We've spoken already a little bit about nettle and how that can support, but all the things that are coming up at the moment, like the cleavers, is brilliant, which you might know as sticky bud, sticky willy. It looks like a bottle brush when you look at the leaves, and we like to think of it as being like a bottle brush inside the lymphatic system, you know, cleansing out all the gunk and the debris from the lymph, all the old viruses and bacteria that are lingering from the winter. And it helps, again, like the nettle, it stimulates the kidneys to cleanse the body of toxins. Dandelion is such a great spring green. It's super rich in so many vitamins and minerals. This is a superfood like the nettle that, you know, is going to give you so much more goodness than, say, you know, super greens that you might pay a fortune for, things like chlorella, spirulina. They're all well and good, but we've got all these abundant, free, local superfoods on our doorsteps that at this time of year we're encouraging you to work with and just taste them, because when you taste them you can feel them acting in your body to help to remove toxins, to give you this amazing nutrient hit that's going to wake up your body after the winter and help prepare you for the coming months. You know, shake off the winter, the slowness and the heaviness of the diet, and move forward with more energy, with more vigor, ready to move into spring. And it really is like having a spring cleanse. We spring clean our houses. We can also spring clean our bodies with all these lovely greens. Birch sap is another really great thing to be having at this time of year. Over the next few weeks, the sap will be rising. If in March, in this month's online class, we're going to be showing you how to tap birch sap and what things that you can use to make with that. And this is super cleansing as well. Again, it's a diuretic. It stimulates the kidneys to remove toxins. They're all alteratives, which means they favourably alter the condition of the body towards health. They're all really great for cleansing the skin as well, supporting the joints and the muscles, just cleansing out really. Another really lovely thing that nature gives us at this time of year is the rosebay willow herb shoots as well, which is brilliant. She's so clever, is Mother Nature. She gives us all the things we need at the right time, because as I've already mentioned, we're going from eating these heavy stodgy diets and not moving around much, being slow, being lethargic, you know, almost half hibernating, to getting out a little bit more, having that energy, putting more fresh vegetation into our bodies through our diet, and that could have some bad effects on the digestion. It could make you loose, it could give you diarrhea, but willow herb prevents that. It's such a great digestive helper to reduce diarrhea and looseness and just support that process, that transition. So when you work with nature in a seasonal way and use what's available at that time on your doorstep, you know, you're connecting with the earth and the microbiome and the mycorrhizae and all of it. And it's like you're on this seasonal journey together, which is what we should be doing. Our bodies are made from the same things as these plants. We've evolved together over a very long time. We put them in, our bodies know what to do with them, which is why they work so well.
I think what I like as well is the fact we use wild garlic this time of the year, because in the past people would have been living very close together with their animals, and of course will have lots of parasites within them, and the wild garlic, you know, packing that in is a really great antifungal, antivirus, viral and antibacterial as well. So, you know, and it helps you get rid of those sort of lingering winter colds and any viruses and bacteria as well. It's just so perfect. I mean, what I like as we move into early summer is we think about people with hay fever, and what does Mother Nature provide? But we've got our nettles, we've got plantain, and we've got elderflowers as well. You know, brilliant for those allergic reactions to plants, that pollen, and any sort of, you know, respiratory, upper respiratory tract problems. It's just there what we need. And the other thing that I've been sort of thinking about is this wheel of the year and how the herbs that Mother Nature produces, if we live a natural lifestyle as our ancestors did, are absolutely perfect. So what do we do in summer? We're out there more in the land. You know, we're out there working, we're out traveling, walking, just being on the land, working as agricultural workers we would have done. And the plants are absolutely perfect for being outside. We've got plantain, which is fantastic for horsefly bites, insect plant bites. You've got things like elderleaf, you've got mugwort that are great as insect repellents. And then if you're walking any length of time, which is what our ancestors did because they didn't have cars, you've got the plantain that can go in your feet for your blisters, for your aching feet. It's there for cuts, for wounds, for infected wounds, for sort of, you know, breaks, for tissue damage. And you've got a lot of these really beautiful wound healing herbs that are out there just when you need them. Self-heal is a great one. You've got yarrow, you've got, again, rosebay willow herb, again, which is absolutely a great wound healer. If you have infected wounds, things like your marshmallow, your plantain, your rosebay can sort of bring out some of those toxins. And as well as that, you've got some of those great digestive tonics as well, you know, that are quite antimicrobial. Again, your roseberry willow, herby yarrow, because in the past, if you think before people had fridges, they would have been reliant on trying to keep food fresh that they'd picked. And particularly hot weather, you're more likely to have stomach upsets. So some of these beautiful herbs will sort of help with any diarrhea. And I love it as well that, you know, there is so much out there in summer and we have the weather to preserve that, to dry it, to make it into salves, and to think about those herbs that we might want later on in the year. I mean, this is a massive subject, isn't it, Danielle? We could really sort of talk really enthusiastically about it for hours, but we're just trying to give you an overview of how these great medicines produced seasonally help your bodies. So I'm going to allow you to lead into autumn as well.
I'm just looking for the hawthorn picture. It's here somewhere. Hawthorn berries. That's the hawthorn when it's in flower. But I've got one of the berries somewhere. Because as we move into autumn, we've got so many amazing hedgerow fruits and berries that Mother Nature gives us. You know, there's the haws, there's rose hips, rowan berries, there's all the apples, the sloes a little bit later, blackberries, you know, there's so many out there. And it's, again, everything is designed perfectly because all these berries are antiviral, they're all packed full of vitamin C, so they help to promote our immune system health. Thinking about the coming autumn and winter and the viral infections that, you know, can be so prevalent at that time. They're also packed full of antioxidants as well, which help protect us against the effects of oxidative stress. And during the winter, when our ancestors wouldn't have had access to fresh fruit and vegetable, you know, it's really packing them in ready for that time. There's also lots of mushrooms around in the autumn that, again, have got really great immune stimulating, immune supporting properties. They've got something called beta glucans in there, which has become popular recently as an immune strengthening supplement. And then the hawthorn berries are the best cardiovascular tonic around and really look after our circulation, our heart during the winter. When again we're going to be slowing down, the days are shorter, the nights are longer, the colder, we're not as out there, we're not as active, you know, our circulation isn't going to be getting as good a workout because we're not moving around as much. So the hawthorn's brilliant for helping prepare us for that, and also for the stodgy, the heavy, the carbohydrate, the fat-rich, heavy protein meals that we'd be eating over the winter. It's just designed beautifully when we do that, when we take these wild foods and medicines in. You know, it's like it's all been beautifully planned by nature because everything just appears at the right time that our bodies need it throughout the seasons.
Yeah, it is just perfect, isn't it? Because, and then that leads me on to winter. And when we find that the energy goes into the roots underneath the soil, and we've got these beautiful root medicines like, you know, angelica and elecampane and marshmallow and horseradish, these are all perfect chest medicines. You know, some of them are antiviral, they're there for soothing colds, coughs, and then, you know, herbalists use a lot now. And it's good to know that even though there is not very much above ground, you know, sometimes you might have your lungwort, again, great for chest, your ribwort plantain, great for chest. There is not much above the soil, but when you dig, you've got all these really healing root medicines that are absolutely perfect for chest problems, you know, and that have been used from time immemorial. And I'm also thinking about other root medicines that we have, things like valerian, you know, to help us sleep and dream through the winter, you know, to replenish nerves, you know, nettle roots as well. And it is almost this perfection that is in nature that works with our bodies through the year. And then over winter, when we start to get to spring, we start to have those, what we call is bear medicine, like your angelica root, which starts to kickstart your body again and to wake it up, leading back into the spring medicines. So even though today we don't tend to live that natural lifestyle as we used to, you know, things are very different, we're still thinking about those medicines coming into season that we might need. We might need elderflower in this, you know, from early summer in the midst of winter, because it's so fantastic for fevers. And so our ancestors would have preserved a lot of what came up, you know, and grew at that perfect time of the year for other times as well, because we use these medicines as herbalists all year round. But the perfection in nature is that they are there when they are needed by us. So when we're actually preserving them, we're preserving them close to that time, but they are the freshest that we can get, you know, that we have elderberries that, you know, haven't been stored too long for the time we really need them in winter as those superb antiviral medicines. I never stop learning about herbs or feeling enthusiastic about them. And I think one of those joys about being a herbalist and working with, you know, a lot of our native medicines, or even not so native medicines, because we have access to some fantastic medicine that you can get from good markets, from your spice, you know, jars, you know, from, you know, ethnic food shops, you know, like ginger and turmeric, that can work into that wheel of the year as well, you know, that so that when you haven't got your fresh produce from your herbs, there's a lot of store cupboard spices that are absolutely brilliant for winter, like ginger and turmeric. So it is absolutely amazing, isn't it, Danielle? You know, how we work with this.
Yeah, it is. And and it all just fits, doesn't it? And the more we thought about this wheel of the year and the cycle of the seasons and how the right herbs are just there at the right time, the more we notice and think about, you know, every time we go out, we're like, oh my God, there's this as well, and that just fits. So
yeah, because I mean, I was thinking about, because we work with nettle seeds a lot and use them during the year as dried. When we have them fresh in summer, this is absolutely perfect. And this was something I was going to mention, that when you've got long days, you're working hard in the fields, you're traveling, you're trying to get the work done on your home. And we all sort of probably know that in summer, where we're out sort of partying, you're going to festivals, or maybe not so last year, but, you know, where you're sort of on holiday, where you're walking, and as you're picking from the hedgerows, you're picking the fresh nettle seeds that are really stimulating, that can really give you quite a buzz of energy and vitality that can have you up all night sometimes, you know. And it is just perfect, isn't it? It's just what you need. You don't get that fresh nettle seed buzz any other time than midsummer to early autumn. You know, dried, it's not quite the same. And it is just that perfection in nature.
Yeah, I'm just remembering your story about the old ladies that stayed up ironing all night. Oh
gosh, yeah. Well, I did a talk at a festival, as a conference, and I harvested loads of fresh nettle seeds and had them out in a dish, and I was handing them around. And as I was sort of doing stuff, I left the bowl, and there was a load of like older ladies. They must have been in the 70s, and they were just eating these nettle seeds. Never thought anything of it because they liked them. And the next thing I heard is that nobody slept all night. They were all up ironing, they were all buzzy all night, and nobody got any sleep at all. So, you know, even with fresh nettle seeds, it is about sort of working, you know, with respect, with all of nature, knowing what your limits are, knowing how to work safely, knowing when to harvest, knowing when how to work reciprocate with nature and work with respect as well, and to not over harvest. I mean, it is such a massive subject, isn't it, Danielle? And I'm aware we're drawing to a close now. And, you know, we have got a few minutes for questions with you, if anybody has any questions. We did want to tell you about the course we've got as well, which is Weeds and Well Medicine, which I've spoken about, which we've got sort of starting next month, which we run all year. And there's quite a few people on this Zoom call I know that have been with us from the whole last year online with weeds and wild medicine, which is what we're doing this year. And that also have been doing all the hands-on courses with us at Offshoots, the permaculture garden in Burnley, for the last few years as well. So, you know, if people want to do more about this, you know, we have got, you know, our course, we've got an early bird, which finishes tomorrow night. So if you want to join us, and, you know, you can do. We're sort of, you know, you can find those details, you know, on our website as well. Just wondering if you've got anything to add about that, Danielle.
Just, yeah, we've got, you know, last year we moved the course online because of lockdown. We couldn't actually run the hands-on course at Offshoots in Burnley that we'd been running for 6 years. And so we just moved a lot of the content online, and it's been such a great success. We're now expanding that and offering a full year. And we're going to rerun all the stuff we had on last year, but we're adding to that. You know, we're putting deeper layers in, we're looking at new herbs. We put a lot of emphasis about that reciprocity and that respect for the earth. We work in ceremonies where it's appropriate to help people connect to the earth. And we do so many beautiful things, don't we?
Yeah.
Every month we're thinking up, you know, new and exciting ways of working with our old faithful herbs that we love so much that we have to share with you, but we want to keep it alive and interesting as well. So, you know, it's organically growing and evolving, and it's taken on a life of its own now.
Yeah, it has been. I'm hoping as restrictions start to lift that we can travel and, you know, go to different places to film, because we, apart from doing the Zoom call, the 90-minute Zoom call every month, we have a members page for each month, and we put lots of how-to videos on that as well, with lots of handouts. But we last year we filmed from Offshoots in Burnley, but we're planning to travel to different places like Anglesey, aren't we, in August when we go on holiday together.
Yes.
And so yeah, we always do the, you know, sort of on herb walks as well, and we always keep things in real time. So we're not using pre-recorded stuff from a few months ago. We tend to look at what's out on the land and take you out there and, you know, see what's growing and make things with that. And we've got quite a few additional things this year, like herbal soap making and deep decoctions. And yeah, I mean, we love doing this, and we love sharing it with people because it is so important.
We have so much fun, don't we? And
Yeah.
you know, we all never stop learning, even us that have been practicing herbalists for several years, 10 years this year for me.
11 for me. So I think as well, you know, as herbalists, it's a lifelong journey, you know, of connection, you know, from what we've done in university, you know, 11, 12 years ago, has evolved so much, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. So come and join us. You know, we have such a good time, and we've got this Facebook group that has taken on a life of its own now, with some very active members sharing your recipes and disasters and successes mostly. But yeah, I think it's really important that people do begin to connect more with nature, because it's not only going to benefit your health, but it's essential for the health of the planet. People need to become more at one with nature. We need to start respecting it and looking after it more, because we are living in uncertain times, and you know, we want to promote good health. We want to empower you to be in the best health possible, to take good care of your health, because so many of the chronic diseases that we have in this country, they're preventable diseases. If you have the right diet, the right lifestyle, put the right things in, most of them are preventable. And we always work on the premise that prevention is better than cure. So all these amazing wild medicines, wild foods, they are the best way that we know that of giving yourself that good health.
Yeah, I think as well there's also like a spiritual sickness of disconnection as well, and I think even more so, you know, during the pandemic, where people have, you know, had to stay at home more and have not been able to travel, and are starting to look at the local places, you know, their own back garden, the places where they live, and connect to the herbs there. And I think there's a lot of healing, you know, that sort of needs to happen. I think nature is that healer, you know, from all the trauma and the grief and the loss that people have had this year, you know, and the challenge. It's good to get out in nature, because when you get out in nature and you connect to the land around you and the plants, that healing comes in as well, doesn't it? You know, and that feeling better, you know, and that feeling calmer. And I know that when, you know, I get out in nature and you start doing things like we've been picking wild garlic and, you know, scarlet elf caps, you know, yesterday, and it was just so relaxing just to do, just to fill baskets, you know, and think about, you know, what you're taking home for tea, or you're taking home for your medicines, or you're just connecting. And you know, it is just it's something that we have lost over the years, and that many of us are yearning to just connect with. And when we start to connect with it, we realise what it is that we were missing and what we so needed. And, you know, I know that when we've been teaching for the last 7 years on weeds and wild medicine, how people tell us how much it's changed them, and it's taught them how to look at their environment differently, to work with the plants, and it can become very addictive as well. As I know that Paula Vindis on this course will tell you, and Sue and many others will tell you just how addictive you know, working with your wild weeds and your wild foods is.
Still, haven't we?
Yeah, we're still to blame for some of the wild medicine addictions that are out there, and people that tell us that when they go for a walk, it's never the same again, because it takes you ages to get from A to B, because you're filling your basket, or you're picking things, and, you know, and trying things out on neighbours and family and that. So I'm just wondering if there's any questions we've got before we sort of go. Anything that's sort of burning. Will you go back to workshops at Burnley? You can't beat hands-on. We would love to, I say, but we've had to cancel our course this year because there's so much uncertainty, really. Catherine, everyone needs to do these courses. I've done live and online, and we'll continue. And yes, April's looking forward to making you plant and friends. And anyone on here from Gloucester, or you all up? No, everybody's from all over. We've got people from Scotland, down south, Wales, all over. People have been joining us from the last year. And I just wonder if there's anything else. And Paula, yes, it's most definitely addictive. You'll buy lots of books and take over your home and cupboard with herbs. And do you need to have the ingredients on the day? No, you don't, because they're all when we do the videos, they're all sort of just pre-recorded. Them partner Pete edits them, so you can do those in your own time. And when's the last day for the early bird discount? Tomorrow night. And any advice on how to build up confidence when identifying the plant medicines? We do herb books, you know, and we provide pictures, you know, as well, you know, to build up that confidence with what you do. But we always say people aren't sure, you know, and you're not 100%, you know, don't use them. But what we do is every month when we do the tastings, we do herb packages that you can buy from us, and we keep the costs really reasonable. You know, you can buy things online, but we do like a key herb package, which we can post out. They cost about £8 for the 25 grams of the 3 herbs. And, you know, you can sort of use those as well. So we buy our stuff from professional suppliers, so we know it's really good quality, because it's what we give our patients. So yeah, and how do I dry nettles? Dehydrator's nice. You could hang them up, or you could put them in bags, brown paper bags, somewhere warm and airy, or get like trays, you know, mesh trays that you could put somewhere warm and airy, or airing cupboards. So I tend to use a dehydrator for mine.
Yeah, on the online course, we've got how-to videos on so many things. We've got how to dry herbs, how to make infused oils, tinctures. Every month we do so many different things. We do a herb walk, and we do several how to do this, how to do that videos that are available for a few months afterwards for you to access. So there is a video on how to dry herbs. There's a video on how to make herbal tea, how to do a tasting, on anything you can imagine.
Yeah, and we also do sort of like recipes for that month, so you can have a go. So we do sort of set things like, you know, one month we'll do things like salves, you know, water-based creams, another one, teach how to do tinctures, you know, teach how to do infused oils, or even pan-top hydrosols. Just trying to think what else we've done, vinegars.
Massage bars and bath soaks and
Yeah,
love
so
balls.
we're doing this year. Yeah.
The love balls were a huge success.
Yeah. Did, yeah.
Aphrodisiac balls.
Yeah, we did in winter, didn't we? So we lozenges as well we've got.
Yeah.
So yes, so thank you very much for joining us. We have recorded this, so what we'll do is we will send you an email probably tomorrow, just with it on, with the link on. So, you know, if you've missed it, then, you know, you can watch it, rewatch it. So we've enjoyed doing this. We could have carried on talking all night because we feel so passionate about it, and, you know, connecting people to the plants that are out there, because they are amazing and we have so much. You know, people think that you have to buy your herbs from the health food shop or from somewhere across the world, but they're right here, you know, on your own doorstep. You know, you've just seen what it, you know, about nettle and how many people pull it up, but it's just an amazing herb, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know, people really do get the confidence to pick these plants and to know what to do with them once they've picked them when they work with us. And they build up a sort of home medicine chest for them to use for all their ailments on themselves and their families. So it's really brilliant. It's priceless.
Yeah. And we have kept the cost of the course so low because we want people to really engage with what we do, because we feel as though this is the time now, you know, the time to live differently, you know, to connect to the land around us and to connect to nature and to feel that healing from just being in nature and, you know, being with the plants. And we hope that by working with people, we work in communities and doing stuff like this, that people will sort of engage with the kids and the families, and, you know, this knowledge and wisdom will get passed on for the future, you know. And I know we've got some forest school leaders on here that have been doing weeds for quite a few years, that have been doing all sorts with the kids. I think Dawn Ansell on there is one of them, with the daisy balm. So, yeah. Right, well. Yeah, and Dawn says, yes, we still make daisy balm.
Yeah, it's lovely to see you, Dawn. I haven't seen you for a few years since you did. Hello, welcome back.
Yeah. So, Danielle, I think it's time to go because I can smell my sort of food in the oven. We've got a veggie lasagna.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
We've got lots from it. We hope you've connected with nettle and can begin to appreciate it, because it's such a fantastic herb.
Yeah.
One of my favourites. Hopefully we'll see you online.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. See you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
If not, you can still sign up for our newsletter if you subscribe to that online on our website, weedsandwildmedicine.co.uk.
Yeah, and we have got some free videos on the herbal revolution and lots of blogs and information on there anyway.
Yeah, so if you know it's not the right time for you to do the course, there is still some stuff that you can access on there.
And we do live streams, don't we, as well, when we're filming, that just put them on Facebook and blogs and newsletters, because we just want to really engage everybody with what we do.
To get that herbal message out there, don't we, and get people connecting with the plants.
Yeah. So my nettle tea here.
Right, thanks everyone. It's been really great to see you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah. And I'm going to get you to stop recording now, Danielle.
Stop recording.
Brilliant.